here 30-hour training. We will be providing
Mm-hmm.
30-hour training. Okay, so you need to send a regular feedback every 3 days, and we will be providing the status to the organizer about that month's topics covered, etc. Those things we will be providing to the organizer. So regarding the structure of the program, the first 2 sessions would be on slides.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be giving the overview of Informatica, and I'll just recapping the data warehouse concepts and all. And then we will start working on the tool and getting hands-on training with the tool. So once after getting hands-on experience on the tool, you will be able to understand the end-to-end process of the development. Okay.
Right.
So from from
Right.
extracting to loading. So we will see the frequently used components, and in between we will
Mm-hmm.
have some practical tests, and then we will see the full complete development cycle. And also we will be providing few post-training support, and we will be sharing some important and useful artifacts to you.
Right. Right. Right.
So all the special needs have been provided. Okay.
Okay.
So regarding feedback, you send feedback to the organizer if possible daily. Okay. So any other concerns you have, you just escalate to organizer immediately. So what sort of feedback that we need is that the volume and action of the trainer, that is me. Okay. So like if you are
Right.
not able to understand what I'm saying, you just let me know. Okay. And
Correct.
coming to speed of the class, you can stop me whenever I am running.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever the
Mm-hmm.
topics have been covered or clear or not, and regarding about timing, you just do let us know priorly, so that if possible we can change according to your convenience. And if there are
Right.
any other concerns, you just let us know. Okay. So
Sure.
okay. So as I said
I
before,
have
we
a question.
okay. Tell me.
Do you guys provide after like on-job training as well? Like I have, like suppose I take this class and then I start doing some development, and then I have concerns regarding some mapping or some applet, like after the training is over. Can I still talk to the organizer or still email you or still
Yeah,
like
sure,
arrange a meeting or something, and we can like
sure.
figure stuff out?
Yeah,
Okay.
see, we'll be
Okay.
providing the post-training support for nearly about a month. Usually it will be a month, okay? But whenever, you find any other concern, you can mail, okay, to the organization for help.
Sure.
You can mail, okay? So feel free to call us.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So we will be providing you some slides and some exercises and other artifacts. So you just please don't share those things with anyone.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so we will start the demo. Okay. So you know all these things. It will be easier
I
for
mean,
you to
you can go through them. It's fine. You can go through them, but cause I already have Informatica and all on my system, and like I already know some of the basics. But you can go through them. It's not a problem. As for what I'm concerned, I'm looking to get more training, like on the job training, like
okay.
just
You know,
something that I'm gonna use practical. Like I need some practical training. But you can
okay,
still
okay.
go like over them. It's not a problem.
Okay. So yeah, after I explaining you those transformations, I'll be explaining one example on each transformation, and I will be giving you
Okay.
a number of scenarios so that you can practically work those things. Okay.
Right,
So
right, right. Okay.
it will give you you know if you
Okay.
train those things, it will be you will become a developer by sure. Okay.
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 Sure.
So as Informatica is an ETL tool, the first part is going to be the extract. Okay. So extract is nothing but we will be getting the data out of the source systems. Okay. So here
Mm-hmm.
either we get all the data from the source tables or only the new and changed data from the source. Consider, when we get all the data from the source table means that if we don't have a mechanism to know what is the new record or changed records, then in that case what we will do, we will be fetching all the data from the source tables. Okay. So coming
Right.
to the second one, consider that we have some audit columns like the created date or updated date created by maybe by.
Right.
So if
The
we,
audit tables always get updated whenever the job is run.
yeah, so if we have those
Mm.
columns in our record, then it will be easier to pull the records which got inserted based on the timestamp. Okay. So
Right.
usually if source system is not able to give data, then we will be pushing all the extracted data into the staging database, and then we will be start the process of identifying the record, which exists or not. This we will be checking in the transformation logic. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So coming to the second part, transform. Here uh, it is not necessary, okay, to have the same data model in the source and the destination. Okay. So when the data model is different from source, okay, obviously we have to modify the source data to the destination data model. So this process is called
Mm-hmm.
transformation. So we have here a number of transformations and some examples I have provided. So lookup, expression, aggregate, we have ranker, sorter, joiner. Um, so we have number of transformations over here. Okay.
Right.
So here we will, to simply say, here we will be performing the business logic, applying the business logic over here.
Mm-hmm.
So then the third part, load. So once we transform the data as needed, we can load the data to the data warehouse. So
Okay.
again, we have ETL architecture over here. We will be extracting all the data from the different source system. Either it can be an XML or relational data file, or it can be a, any file system, any database schema. So we will be fetching data from those systems, and we will be performing the ETL process over here. Okay, so after extracting, we will be we'll be performing some data cleansing and profiling, scrubbing of data cleansing and scrubbing or similar. So, and we will be providing some transformation. So once the transformation is done, we will be loading that into the data warehouse or data mart. Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So to say about Informatica history, it was founded in 93, headquartered in Redwood City, California. So it is the leading provider of data integration software. And what are the products we have over here in Informatica is that one is Power Center, Power Analyzer, Metadata Manager, and Power Exchange. Okay.
Right.
So to say about Power Center, it is an industry standard for the data integration. Okay, so it improves the flexibility of ETL process um, um, with the ability, to extract more data types, enterprise data types. So if you compare with other technologies that is present in the market, okay, and
Okay.
it makes the ETL developers' jobs easier. By providing various tools and various reusable components and a platform. So it makes, the ETL process, it automates many ETL processes. So this is all about
Oh, okay. Okay.
Power Center. And going to Power Analyzer, it is the platform, BI platform, designed for the development of business analytics, and it has capabilities such as ad hoc queries, analysis, so they're easily delivered via those dashboards and custom applications. Okay, so it is the platform, BI platform that we are using here. And here we have a metadata manager. So this was the first enterprise metadata management solution. What it does is it integrates the metadata from disparate systems, and it offers a visualization and analysis capabilities, for 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 enhanced understanding of an organization's IT environment. So to come about Power Exchange, it is a pattern software. It provides access to all the critical enterprise data systems, including the mainframe and some mid-range relational database and file-based systems. Okay.
Okay.
So this is Power Center architecture. So if you see here, this architecture is divided into two components. One is server components and the other is client components. So in server components we have Informatica server and the repository server, and in client components we have a manager, designer, workflow manager and workflow monitor. Okay, so here administrative console. So the ETL process, everything is done over in this server component. So here what we will be doing is that we will be extracting the data from the source and we will be loading it into the target. So here what this repository server will does is, it takes care of all the connections between the repository and the client. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll just tell you the flow. Okay, how the flow will be over from top to bottom.
Okay.
First, what a developer, to say it's you. Okay, so you are going to be a developer. So what you will be doing is that you will be writing a program in the designer part. We have the client tool over here, right?
Right.
Here you will be creating.
Yeah, you create mappings and stuff over here.
Yeah, so this program, as you said, it is a guide-based program and it's called mapping. So once the mapping is created, we will be storing it into the repository, and once it is saved, the next step is to execute the program. So to execute the program, you need the workflow manager tool.
Right.
So, you cannot even execute that mapping directly. Okay? So for that, what you need to do is that you have to create the session task for the mapping.
Create a session, that's correct. Yes.
Session, right? Session means, what it tells the integration service how to move data from the source to the target. So a session is a task. You can create a session for each mapping.
Okay.
So once the session task is created, it also needs to be saved into the repository, and also you cannot execute the session task directly. So for that, what you need to do is that you have to create a workflow. So workflow is nothing but a set of instructions that tells the integration service how to execute the task, such as the sessions and email, etc., commands, etc. So all those things. So it will be providing the instruction to perform as per the instruction. Okay. So here, so during so we have created the workflow now. So once you create it, you need to save the workflow to the repository. So workflow will be executed in the workflow manager. So during the execution of the workflow, you can monitor the activities using the workflow monitor. Okay.
Okay.
So this is how the flow will be. Okay. So what are the client tools we have over here is that, first one is repository manager. So this is the tool which is used to manage the source and target connections and folders, objects,
Right.
users and groups. So this is the tool used to manage these things. And here in designer, it is a developer tool. Okay, so here we will be developing the ETL mappings. And we have workflow manager. What it will do, it will create and start workflows. That is a sequence of mappings. And
Right.
workflow monitor, here we will monitor the workflows. And we have administration control. Here it is a web-based tool, used to perform some domain and repository task. We will be creating, upgrading, deleting. So all these things is taken care by this web-based tool. Okay.
Okay. I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you go to the previous? Okay. Yeah. So how do you deploy the code from development to test to production, or so like, do you use a designer to deploy the code, or do you use repository manager?
No,
How do
once
you
the
like transfer
mapping,
the code from one environment to other environment?
so once the mapping you have done, and once usually the business user will be providing the mapping document, right? So
Yes.
you were asking how we will be moving that mapping into, uh, what did you ask?
No, no, no.
Deploy
What my
to
question is,
testing.
suppose the business users provided the mapping, and we are in development environment. Okay,
Okay.
so we are in development and we created a mapping, we executed a workflow, we tested it,
Okay.
and it's working fine. But we have to
Okay.
deploy the code to some other environment. We have to deploy the code to production,
Okay.
right?
Okay. So to moving.
How,
Okay. Okay. So here it
yeah.
will
So
be
how do you
done by
move a
the
code
server.
from development to production?
Yeah, it is done by the server repository. We have the server over here, right?
Right.
Oh, oops, sorry. So once everything is done, okay, so we will be deploying that in, through the server, right? Okay.
Okay, but
Hello.
what tool is used? Do we use a repository manager, or do we use
We will be
repository
using
server
repository
admin?
server administration control.
Okay,
This is
okay,
here.
okay,
We
okay,
will be, it is only for managing the repository. Okay, so not for deployment
okay,
purpose. Okay.
okay, okay, okay.
Okay, so move on to the repository. So here we will be storing the metadata. It will be a relational database. It stores all the metadata that you were created in the Power Center. So whenever you develop any mapping or a session or workflow, or even if you execute them, so entries are made into this repository. Okay, so here it also directs the server to run, extract, load, and transformation process, all these things. It also provides some troubleshooting elements. So and it contains a record of user access. Who are all the users that access the repository and its objects. So it will maintaining a record for that one. Okay, so this is all about the repository. Uh, so we'll see the repository manager. What it will do is that we will be creating and deleting the repository. We can even take backup. We can restore from any place. We can copy it. It provides access to the metadata, and metadata searching can be done over here. We can see all the dependencies over here. The source dependencies and target dependencies, everything can be seen over here. We can establish users and groups, and we can provide the privileges for these persons, and we will be
Mm,
managing folders, so creating folder and edit properties, so giving permissions to the folders. Everything can be done over here, even an import and export. So everything, all the things are managed by this repository manager. Okay,
right.
so how the you have seen this thing, right? A repository manager window. So here we
Yes,
have,
I've seen the window, but I haven't worked with it at all. But I've seen the window.
okay. Okay. So here we have a navigator window. So
Mm-hmm.
here it displays all the objects that are created in the repository manager, and even in designer and the server manager. So what are all the things that you are creating over there? It will be displayed over here. So it is first organized. If you see here, it will be first organized as repositories, and then folder, and then the objects. Okay. So and we have an
Right.
analysis window here. So here, it will provide the details about the object that you have selected here in the navigator window. Okay. So here we have a number of columns, and these columns will change according to the object that you have selected in the navigator window. Okay. So and we have dependency window. It will show all the source and target dependencies, mapping dependencies, and all those things will be shown over here. So we have output window over here. What it it provides the output of task. Okay, whatever that you have executed within the repository manager. So those outputs will be provided over in this output window. Okay, so next we have designer. So if you see here, the designer,
Mm-hmm.
here we have these tools, source analyzer, warehouse designer. It is nothing but a target designer. So here transformation developer, mapping designer, and maplet designer. So
Right.
so using these tools, we can analyze the sources, we can design target schemas, and we can build source to target mappings. Okay. So this source analyzer, what it is used for is, it is used to import or create source definitions, and this warehouse designer is used to import or create target definitions, and transformation developer, it is used to develop the transformation to use in mappings. So then we have
Right.
a mapping designer. This mapping designer is used to create mappings so that the integration services uses to extract, transform, and load the data. And we have a maplet designer. It creates a set of transformations where it can be used in the mappings, okay, that we are creating over in
Right.
the mapping designer.
Right.
So these are the
Right.
designer tools. So this is how the designer window will appear. So here also we have a navigator window. Here it will connect to repositories and folders within the navigator. You can also, copy objects and create shortcuts within this navigator window. So, and we have workspace over here. It opens different tools. If you see here, we have all the tools over here. Source analyzer, target designer, transformation, mapping, and maplet. So all the tools are present over here. So open different
Right.
tools in this window so that we can, we can create repository objects, or we can edit the objects. Um, any object, whether it is a source, target, maplet, mapping, transformation. So everything can be created and edited over here in this workspace window.
Okay.
So again, the output window, it will be giving the details about the task that we will be performing, such as saving the work or validating the mapping. So everything will be shown over here in this output window. Okay. So next we have workflow manager, and if you see here in workflow manager, we will be creating the task. So a task may be a sessions, command, or decisions. So we have a pre-session and post-session commands, and email notification. So generally it will be 3: session, commands, and email.
Mm-hmm.
So we will be developing and managing the workflows over here. We can monitor the workflows using the workflow monitor tool, and we can configure sessions, we can create the connection objects, and log generation also can be done over here. So if you see, this is the workflow manager window. Here also we have the navigator window. it displays the monitored repositories and servers and repository objects. So everything it is displayed over here. And in configuration window, so whatever, this, it is somewhat similar. So whatever the object that you are selecting over here in the navigator window, all the details will be provided over here. Okay. So and
Okay.
we have this monitor window. So whatever the options that you are whatever the changes that you are doing over here, so everything will be shown over here in the monitor window. And again, we have output window which displays messages from the the integration service and the repository service. So all those messages will be displayed over in the output window. Okay.
Okay.
So so workflow monitor, it monitor workflows and tasks. We can start a workflow here, and we can stop, or we can abort, and we can resume the workflows over here. So we can view sessions and workflow log events. And
Okay.
here, if you see here, we can see in two views. One is Gantt chart, and the other one is task view. So
Right.
if it is a Gantt chart view, it will be displaying all the details about the workflow, runs in you know to say in chronological format. Okay, so it will be displaying all the details about the workflows, runs in chronological format. So here, if it is in task view, if you click on the task view, it will be displayed the details about the workflow in a remote, in a report format. Okay, so
Okay.
these are the two views we have over here in the workflow monitor. And
Okay.
here, when I showed the Informatica architecture, previous video, I haven't provided the ODBC connection that has been present between the client and the source and targets. Okay, so here I have
Okay.
shown the ODBC connection. So, and from source to target, we have a native or ODBC connection, and from here we have from repository server to metadata repository, it will be a native driver. Okay.
Okay.
So this is this gives the overall connectivity of the power center. So I should have showed you a simple mapping, but there was a problem with the server access. So you
Oh,
will
okay.
be seeing those things only, so once the session gets confirmed. Okay.
Okay. That sounds good.
Yeah. So you'll just you can provide your feedback to the organizer. Okay.
Yes, I will. I will let him know.
Yeah. Okay. You have any questions?
Not really. I'll just talk to the organizer